Coming up, we're going to do our top 10 of 2022. This is Crossfire Collectibles.
What's up, guys? Hey, man.
Dale from Crossfire Collectibles.
And in today's video, like we said,
we're going to be reviewing our top 10 of 2022. Yeah, it's come to an end, man. Yeah, we got some good stuff and some things you guys actually haven't seen, but that's okay because we're going to actually show it in this video. Might not be opened, might already be loose, but we'll show them off anyway. But before we get to that, we're going to go ahead and show off each an honorable mention.
yes.
So I'm going to start it off.
So we have our list right here, but for we have 5 honorable mentions, and we have 2 each, and then we did agree on one. So
we'll go ahead this one, and then we'll do our number 10. We're both going to agree on Alley Viper for G.I. Joe Classified, due to the fact that he was the very first figure I did buy in 2022. I picked him up at Target, I believe, on January 2nd. Yeah, they had him in Gung Ho, and I grabbed both of them, and made sure I definitely got him. But I know his official release was 2021, but he was purchased in 2022 and the first figure of 2022, so he's definitely got an honorable mention, and that goes to G.I. Joe Classified Alley Viper.
yeah.
All right, so our next honorable mentions, we each have one, and I'll let him start.
So my honorable mention for 2022 is definitely Sergeant Slaughter. He is definitely a great figure. It was really hard not putting him in my top 10, but in my opinion, there was just figures that were better than him, and I still wanted to have him in the list at some sort, so I did put him in an honorable mention. But great figure. They did an amazing job bringing Sergeant Slaughter into the Classified, making him look like the OG figure, or just making him look more like a Classified figure, so had to put him in something. So I really liked all the accessories he comes with. I didn't like the gun that he came with, though.
Yeah.
So a little bit of things bringing him down, some things that I did like better, but yeah, still a great figure.
And my other honorable mention is going to be Star Wars The Black Series, third sister Reva, simply for the fact that I never opened her, and I wanted to display her, but I'm really not trying to display all the Obi-Wan series figures. But I had to go with this as being a probable one of the best portraits I've seen on a figure all year. And the way they captured Moses Ingram as Reva is just outstanding and phenomenal, and it definitely deserved an honorable mention. It was hard to not put her in my top 10 as well, but I just couldn't do it. It's just, I really wanted the face, and the body might be great and all that, but it just wasn't my thing to make it to the top 10. But she's definitely getting an honorable mention.
So for our last honorable mentions, I do have the Amazing Fantasy 60-year anniversary Spider-Man. Again, a great figure. He was one of the best Spider-Mans to come out. Posability on him was amazing. Sculpt's amazing. They captured him pretty much perfectly. I love the little web wings, the web shot, whatever. But I thought there was a Spider-Man that was better. And so I still had to put him in the list somehow, so he did go into the honorable mention. But still a great figure in my opinion. Yeah, I hope you guys don't bash me for that one, but pretty cool.
And my final honorable mention of 2022 is going to be the Marvel Legends Avengers Endgame and Falcon and the Winter Soldier 2-pack of Steve Rogers Captain America and Sam Wilson Falcon Captain America. I wanted to put this in my top 10 as well, but of course I didn't want to open this just because I have too many loose Avenger Marvel Legends, and this is just so nice to keep in the pack. I do have another cap, but I did want this head for it, and I do have the other Captain America Sam Wilson, but he's got the wings and it's better. It's up on display, but that's okay. This stays on display up on a shelf, and it's great. But yeah, I had to give this an honorable mention because it was definitely nice for early 2022 release, and that's going to be it for that. our number 10. So the countdown begins. So these are our top 10s of 2022. I will start with this one, and this is the cXc, the Creep from NECA. He is not opened either. He was just one of my recent acquisitions. I'm a huge cXc fan. I'm waiting to get a couple things in the mail so I can actually build this, diorama background of the window. He'll be on the opposite side with the night background and the orange moon and a little tree coming out the corner. The accessories he comes with and the different heads, it just really brings back the memories of me when I was like 4 years old, sitting down on Halloween watching a triple feature with, what was it, Swamp Thing, cXc, and Reanimator. cXc, fell in love with it. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. And yeah, I had to definitely put this in my top 10.
So my top 10, I know it could be a little controversial, but the main reason why I picked this was because of Mojo, and he's just a great figure. If you like the X-Men or like anything about that and need, you gotta get this. I know they did come out with a separate Mojo, but this one is just better with the little baby Wolverine and the other figures that it came with. But just, in my opinion, this was a great pack. They did an amazing job with all the figures. Mojo looks amazing, way better than the old one, but I had to put this at my top 10. I know there could be some figures better than it, but I had to put it in my top 10. And now for our number 9 spot, which we actually picked the same figure. It is the Star Wars The Black Series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader.
The one thing, this figure also is not open, sorry for the glare, but he is a retold of the best Darth Vader Black Series figure made, in my opinion. He's got the soft parts. He's got the saber with the removable blade. The helmet is actual more scaled to size, how it should be a lot larger than everybody thinks. Oh, it's like real tight to his face. Because the Vader helmet, I've seen it in person, and it is freaking huge. So it works.
Also, the guy that did play him in the original was like 7 foot tall or something.
Dave Prowse, he was up there. He's pretty big.
Yeah.
He wasn't 7. He was like 6 something. But anyway, but yeah, we definitely had to get Vader in our list, and we both mutually agreed he is our number 9 figure of 2022.
Definitely my favorite Darth Vader figure. I do have
of all time.
Do I have the 40th?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I have the 40th anniversary one on the retro card. Came with like that set and all that. That Darth Vader figure, in my opinion, is really good, but this one's just better. This one is definitely the best Darth Vader figure of all time.
And we're not showing away any and we're not showing any of the 4-inch figures or the vintage collection, or any of the G.I. Joe retro figures, none of that. So there's a lot of people who did put the Vader from 2022 from the vintage collection in their list, and by far he is an excellent figure. But we only had spot for one Vader in this video, and that will be the Black Series one.
Yeah, it's an amazing figure.
Our number 8 spot, I went with the Masterverse Masters of the Universe He-Man 40th anniversary figure. Just did him in a review last night of all times, and he had to be the best He-Man figure I've ever seen. And it's just so much homage to the vintage figure, especially with this head sculpt and the Masterverse, body and sculpt and posability. Just made it. This is definitely going in my top 10, and I made a spot for him at number 8.
My number 8, this could be a little controversial too, but it's Cyclops. This is probably the best Cyclops figure, in my opinion, to ever come out. He captures Cyclops perfectly, captures Cyclops on the show perfectly.
It captures the Jim Lee version perfectly. Yeah. Captures the Jim Lee version perfectly.
This Cyclops is literally insane. The cell shading looks good. A lot of people don't like the cell shading, but I do. The face sculpt, perfect. Posability, perfect. The one thing that they could have done better was add an optic blast, or even a different head sculpt with an optic blast. But a lot of the Cyclops come with an optic blast. But, of course, in my opinion, the best Cyclops doesn't come with one, which kind of sucks. But still, the figure is great. They did a really good job with him. And I had to put him in my top 10 at number 8. He's really cool.
All right, so we're at our number 7 spot. I've got to dip around because this is a little large. I went with a DC Multiverse figure of all things. I never opened this, and I didn't have any intentions to. I wanted to display it up on one of my shelves with some other DC things. I had a lot of Batman memorabilia. But when I saw this Man-Bat figure in, where was I, Books A Million, I was like, mine, gotta get it. That and Killer Croc were just fantastic, but this was one of the best DC Multiverse figures I think I've ever seen. I couldn't tell you exactly, personally how the inside of it is because I didn't open it, but just the look of him. And I could also bring out something else, would be like the American Werewolf and London Werewolf. Haven't taken that out, but that looks phenomenal in the box. But yeah, this is definitely making it on in my top 10, and he actually beat out He-Man, which was a very, very difficult decision for me. But I put Man-Bat from DC Multiverse at my number 7.
My number 7, I have to go to G.I. Joe Classified Storm Shadow. A lot of people, I know, were kind of controversial that they came out with the Arctic Storm Shadow first, but it was definitely worth the wait because this is, in my opinion, is the best Storm Shadow figure to ever come out. He looks perfect, literally perfect. Cobra insignia on his gi. I do really like these gloves. I know that the retro Storm Shadow coming out just has bear skin hands, but just this Storm Shadow is perfect. It's just speechless almost. I love the accessories that it comes with. Yeah, it's not really that much to say about it besides the fact that it's a great Storm Shadow figure. Posability is amazing. You can get them in some nice poses, but dude, I really like it.
Good figure.
Definitely a good figure. So for our number 6 spot, we both have Marvel Legends here, but I had to go with Moon Knight. This figure is probably my favorite Disney Plus Wave figure to come out. They did him perfectly, just like from the show. I was debating on the Mr. Knight, but in my opinion, I feel like they could have done better with Mr. Knight. Don't get me wrong, he's still a really good figure, but this figure is just better. Down to the detail, to the bandage wraps, to the moon insignias all over him, capturing him from the show. He just looks awesome. Definitely.
I'd like if you could get like a cloth cape to make like a half moon and just put it up behind him and have him coming like he's bouncing down. But
yeah, that would be cool.
And I went with, technically also a Disney Plus figure, but I went with the What If version of Red Skull. Now, they did do this Red Skull before for San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that came with a replica Tesseract, but the recoloring on this, especially on his head and skin, this is the perfect Red Skull figure and by far one of my favorite figures of 2022 from Marvel Legends. You got your little mini Tesseract, the proper color red the other figure should have been, not more of the dark, almost blood red color, but this one fits phenomenal and I was very happy to put this in my top 10.
Definitely did a good job with both of these figures. Again, I kind of wanted to put this Red Skull in my top 10, but in my opinion, it's just figures that are better than him. But the Moon Knight, Red Skull, both great figures. Alright, for our number 5 spot, I did have to put in the Star Wars Droids, The Adventures of R2-D2 and C-3PO, Boba Fett. I know he doesn't look like he did from the show, but the colors, everything just about him was just insane. When I was little, my dad actually made me watch it, and seeing Boba Fett, because Boba Fett's one of my favorite Star Wars figures, just seeing him in the funky old colors was just cool, and I did have the 3 3/4 version of this, and that was my favorite Boba Fett figure, and the fact that they made a Black Series 6-inch figure, I had to get it. It's awesome. I mean, I love the figure, and I love Boba Fett, so I had to get it. I haven't opened this yet either because he is a retail, so I prefer to keep him in the box, especially the fact that you can open it, you can still see him and everything. Yeah, still a great figure. I love it. So.
And mine, number 5, which was an extremely hard decision with this on number 4, but I went with the G.I. Joe Classified Zorana. I waited for this figure since the announcement. When I saw the digital renders, I fell in love with it. I was like, wow. I loved the Zorana character, from the old cartoons, from the comic books. From the toys, she was one of the only female Joes that I had, and it hit a spot personally in my heart just to have this. And when they did the classified and I got to open it and physically look at it, I was like, wow, to the detail, completely new sculpts of everything. And it's simply just phenomenal. The fact that you can change out the hair for the original style hair and all the accessories, the posability is just phenomenal. So she made it to my number 5. Almost went to number 4, but there's where she is. Okay, so on to our number 4 spot. We have the G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes and Timber version 2. I'll start off by saying I would actually prefer the version 1 version of Timber, since he was, the gray and white, which I'm more used to, not the white version. And but this version of Snake Eyes was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I went ahead and brought out a scarf to put on him to take his bandolier and throw it around Timber. But this is by far, probably to date, my favorite Snake Eyes figure ever made.
Yeah, then again, I had to agree with this one and put this one at my number 4. It just captures Snake Eyes and Timber so well, and I really love the Snake Eyes figure. Snake Eyes is one of my favorite G.I. Joes. I'm pretty sure I would have to say he is my favorite G.I. Joe, and they just did it so well. So crazy.
And just the fact that, they did come out with the white Timber. It was like, yeah, man, another repaint, another Snake Eyes figure. But when I saw it and I got it, and I was just like, oh my God, that's the figure I wanted. Especially because he has the dark green pants. And I actually put an Autobot insignia on his right shoulder because it reminds me of the San Diego Comic-Con version of Snake Eyes that came with Jetfire. So I was like, that was one of my favorite, modern G.I. Joe figures. And they made a larger version of it. Now I just need to get a 3D printer and make a blaster backpack. But yeah, so Snake Eyes version 2, G.I. Joe Classified, that is our mutual number 4.
So for our number 3 spot, getting very close to the number 1, I do have the Spider-Man Spinneret Renew Your Vows 2-pack. MJ, Peter. I really, really like the Spider-Man, the animated series Spider-Man.
The newest retro Walmart version.
Yeah, but this Spider-Man, I feel like, in a way, it just captures Spider-Man better when it comes down to the spider on the back, the head sculpt, everything, the posability, the fact that you can bend his toes in. Perfect. And, of course, I just added the whole 2-pack in there. Spinneret, she looks, in my opinion, she looks really good. I don't know too much about her. I just know it's MJ as kind of like a Spider-Woman or whatever. But they look good. This is one of my favorite Spider-Man figures. They did an amazing job with it, and I had to put this in my top 10, and I had to put it up there because Spider-Man, I just love Spider-Man. I had to have him up there. Great figures.
Now, I went ahead and I put in at my number 3 spot the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends Marvel Legends 3-pack. Technically 4 if you count his line. But I was like, man, I'm definitely putting Spider-Man in there, but why can't we not put the whole set in there? Because they're all amazing figures. This Iceman, with the cell shading and the more thinner build to him, it's fucking perfect. And then Ms. Lion, even though that I don't think her ears are proper, but it's okay. Firestar, yes, a retool of the one before that, the more recent one with the windowed packaging, but her hips don't lie on this one, and that I was like, wow, they just upgraded that Firestar big time. And then the Spider-Man I wanted most of all of any Spider-Man figures that they made for Marvel Legends was the Spider-Man His Amazing Friends from the 80s cartoon. The head is great, the paint is great. The only flaw I have on it is that he has the little grooves inside of his biceps, like on his triceps technically, for wings that I'm guessing he got remolded from the Amazing Fantasy figure. But apart from that, great figure, love it. Only one I wanted most of all of the Spider-Man, and that's it. So he filled in on my number 3 spot as Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
So coming in at our number 2 spot for our top 10 2022, I did have to do the Spider-Man retro carded symbiote Spider-Man. Again, this figure is borderline perfect for a symbiote Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure they came out with an older one, I want to say.
Yeah, there was.
But this one just blows that one out of the ballpark, blows it out of the water. This one is just better. Again, I couldn't bring myself to open this one either, but it's just awesome. I love Symbiote Spider-Man. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man suits, and it just they just captured it so well, and I love it, dude. It's perfect for a Symbiote Spider-Man figure, in my opinion. And again, I have to go. I love Spider-Man, so I had to put this in my top 10.
And I went with the Mega Tank Monocrat movie style Transformers Megatron, which was probably my most anticipated thing of 2021 that I pre-ordered to get in 2022, which I did. And I think it was in like February or March, early March, something like that. But when I got him, I was blown away. The articulation, the weight of him, the size of him, the transformation into the tank itself, the light up heads, the giant light up cannon, and overall I was like, wow, this was like a true gift to myself when I got it. And loving Transformers, was my favorite figure of all time that I have gotten to this date, and he is definitely my number 2 of 2022. Now, before we get started with our number 1, if you guys are new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe for future content, and we have much more to come next year. And now, our number 1 figure. Number 1 accessory, number 1 vehicle, number 1 playset of 2022 is the G.I. Joe Classified Hasbro PulseCon exclusive Serpentor the Air Chariot.
Amazing figure.
Speechless.
We had to put this in our top 1. Mm-hmm. We had to agree on this as our number 1, and the agreement was easy. When it comes down to the Air Chariot, like, don't even mind the figure for a second. The Air Chariot is perfect. Captures the OG one perfectly when it comes to the Cobra insignias with the crowns, all the caution, the guns. The size is perfect for the 6-inch Serpentor, and this is a big figure. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, classified figure to come out. But
besides the his tank that's coming, but yeah, I mean, the fact that you get a snake, you know, his sword, he's got his staff, 2 separate different pieces for his head that you can put on him, and the back rill thing, whatever, I can't ever remember it. And then the construction of the Air Chariot itself, being up on little platforms that you can pull out, having the spinning little rotating thing, I don't know the name of it, in the back. The assembly was nice, it was smooth, and it scales perfectly. The size that they made Serpentor, you know, it's perfect. He's nearly just a tad taller than Sergeant Slaughter, who was also a big figure. The detail on his suit, the scales, the snakes, everything. Even the, I guess, the design, how they made the cape, you know, it's a fabric cape, and it has these scales, you know, kind of on it. Yeah. They've really nailed it making this figure. They did
a perfect job. There's nothing, to be honest, there's nothing I'd change about it. Nothing.
I would. Just the gold in his head up here. I think you talked about that before too. I think the gold around his jawline and up to his temples, that should be more of a gold as like the top of his, I guess,
helmet,
snake helmet, snake hat, one of them. Maybe give him a nice bald head that if you took that off, you'd see it. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is it for our top 10 of 2022, and our number 1 going to the G.I. Joe Classified Serpentor with Air Chariot. So that pretty much sums it up. That is our top 10 of 2022 with some honorable mentions. We kept Serpentor in the shot because he was in fact both of our number 1, and he well-deserved figure for 2022.
Definitely.
We hope you guys have a very safe and happy new year. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched our videos. If you're a subscriber, a liker, or whatever, or just flipping through and checking us out, we really appreciate it. We enjoy doing these videos, and we'll continue doing them in 2023.
Sure.
Well, yeah, besides that, just enjoy, and we'll see you guys next year.
If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a giant thumbs up, subscribe, so you know,
tickle, tickle, tickle.
Make
it's
sure
like a man.
Make sure to check out and follow us on social media. We'll see y'all next year. Peace.
Cool. I like that. That was sick.
All right.
And then we'll start.